Hello, I am the librarian, and Lavande and I have another quick and easy snack for you. What we will be doing today is making, I don't know what you'd call them. It's puff pastry and pizza seasonings, basically. So, while fairly straightforward because this is using store-bought puff pastry, you can make your own, but I mean, it's not a difficult process, but it is a very long one, and, well, we do tend to get bored around here. So the first thing you need to do is get your puff pastry out, because it is frozen, and following package directions, at least on the one we have, we need to have it sit out for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and we have already done that. And also, according to package directions, we have set the oven to 400 degrees. Your, frozen puff pastry may vary. But first we are going to attend to the spices. What we have here is a tablespoon of basil, a tablespoon of oregano, a tablespoon of garlic, 2 teaspoons of red pepper flakes, half a teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. This will make far more than you will need for this recipe. If you want to use less, you can cut the ingredient amounts down, or you can have leftovers like I intend to. And this part is very easy in that you simply take a bowl and we dump everything in. And then we give that a stir. It's actually quite pretty, which is unusual for the cooking around here, which tends to not be pretty, but generally reasonably tasty. So now I'm going to sort of rearrange my workspace here. So our puff pastry has been sitting out for nearly 2 hours now. And I'm going to lay that down. And I'm going to very carefully try to pull this apart, and maybe shouldn't have let it get quite so warm, because now it really wants to stick to itself. It doesn't matter too much in the end, but just for ease of use, come on. I think I'm going to cut here so you don't have to watch me fight with this. Back in a moment. Well, I suppose it wouldn't be one of our recipes if it wasn't at least a little ugly. Now to the putting it together. I'm going to take some olive oil. How much? However much it takes to... Okay, that might be a little much, but, well, that's fine. Olive oil is tasty. And we're going to get that all nice and coated. There we go. And now we're going to put our spices on, and how much we want is just, well, however much you want. I'm going to put a few pinches on there, get it nice and coated. Yep. I think that's sufficient coverage. And I have one more ingredient that stop rattling. I have one more ingredient that I need to get from the fridge. Just a moment. There. I have grated some Parmesan. Now, I personally did grate this myself to get it, to make it powdery. But, you know, shaky cheese in a jar is ideal here. I just happen to have a block of Parmesan rather than a jar. So I've got about a tablespoon here. And I'm going to sprinkle that on. And of course, this is one of those recipes that is just infinitely customizable. It's just a sheet of puff pastry and some olive oil and whatever spices you want to put on top of it. You could make it more garlic. You could swap out the olive oil for butter and put cinnamon and sugar on it. It's all very basic. Now, I'm going to cut this into strips, which would have worked better if it was a little colder. But we make do with what we have. Pizza cutter might have worked for this too, but I know I'm going to need to get to the sides when I turn this sideways. No, it doesn't need to be perfect. I really shouldn't have thawed this for as long as I did, but, well, it's important to experiment. And it's important to demonstrate that it is okay for things to be imperfect. I think I make these fairly small. There's little nibblies. I bet you could be a little more extra with this and, you know, shape it. Let's see. Take one and just kind of give them a little twist. I'm going to see how these ones bake up. I've just got the 3 to demonstrate. Now, I'm going to pop these in the oven for about 20 minutes. Until they're all puffed up and nice and golden brown. And until then, Lavande and I are going to get a bit of cleanup started. So, we will see you later. All right, it is 20 minutes later, and this is how things turned out. Now, this side did seem to get a little brown. I don't know if that's because of just where heating elements are, or if I had more of the Parmesan over there and it got darker. But some of it turned out reasonably pretty. My twists are a little iffy, but the dough was very soft and not really holding its shape, but you could either not wait as long as I did, and so your dough's still a little stiff, or put it in the fridge for a while before you use it, and I did not do that. The next problem is that now I need to wait another 5 or 10 minutes to actually handle this. So, in the meantime, I'm going to cut this up properly, maybe plate it up, and we'll be back in another 10 minutes or so. And here we go. I actually plated it up a bit using some of the prettier pieces. Now, if you want to use a dipping sauce, basically anything you would put on a pizza crust would work. A marinara sauce or ranch. I just have some Caesar dressing here because I like things to be very garlicky. Let's give this a try. That is more or less what I was attempting to make. I might put a little more salt in next time because I do like salt, but it's got the crunch and general flavor profile of a pizza breadstick that I was going for. So I will consider this perhaps not perfection, but nevertheless a success. See you next time.